Stop. What if almost everything you imagine about prehistoric love is completely wrong? Not just wrong, backwards. Because for most of human history, reproduction wasn't a private decision, it wasn't romance, it wasn't dating, and it definitely wasn't two people choosing each other the way we imagine today. In fact, the biggest challenge ancient humans faced wasn't finding food, it was finding someone willing to create the next generation. And that problem shaped your brain long before it shaped civilization. Think about that. Every emotion you've ever felt around attraction, jealousy, desire, rejection, love, heartbreak, those feelings might be echoes from a world that no longer exists. A world where survival depended on reproduction so intensely that your ancestors evolved psychological systems specifically to solve that problem. But here's the strange part. The way ancient humans reproduced wasn't optimized for happiness, it was optimized for survival. And those are not the same thing. Because survival doesn't care whether you're fulfilled, it only cares whether your genes continue. That's the first uncomfortable realization. Your brain wasn't designed to make you happy, it was designed to make descendants. And suddenly, a lot of modern behavior starts making sense. For nearly 95% of human history, humans lived as hunter-gatherers, small groups, constant uncertainty, predators, disease, starvation. Death was everywhere. In that environment, reproduction wasn't just personal, it was a group survival strategy. A tribe losing too many members could disappear entirely. Every birth mattered, but every birth was also dangerous for mothers, for infants, for the group itself, which created an evolutionary contradiction. Humans needed more children, yet producing children could kill the people producing them. So evolution started making strange bargains. Women evolved preferences for partners who could provide protection and resources. Men evolved intense sensitivity to signs of fertility and reproductive opportunity. Neither system was consciously designed. They emerged over hundreds of thousands of years, quietly, relentlessly. And they still influence modern relationships today, even when we pretend they don't. But this is where the story becomes uncomfortable, because ancient reproduction wasn't always peaceful. Competition was everywhere, not just between tribes, between individuals. Every human alive today descends from ancestors who successfully reproduced, but countless others did not. Entire bloodlines vanished forever. Think about that. The majority of humans who ever lived left no descendants. They disappeared from history completely, which means you are not descended from average survivors. You are descended from winners, people whose genes repeatedly succeeded under impossible conditions. And your brain still carries their strategies, sometimes without your permission. Here's the realization most people never consider. You don't simply inherit eye color, or height, or facial features. You inherit psychological tendencies shaped by reproductive success thousands of generations ago. Preferences, fears, attractions, biases, instincts. Some of them may have helped your ancestors survive. Some may be completely outdated, but they're still running in the background, like ancient software controlling modern hardware. And now another contradiction appears. The world changed. Your brain didn't. For most of human history, humans lived in tribes of perhaps 50 to 150 people. Today, you can encounter thousands of potential partners through a screen. Evolution never prepared us for that, which means many modern relationship struggles may be collisions between ancient instincts and modern environments. Your jealousy, your craving for validation, your fear of rejection, your obsession with being chosen. These emotions often feel personal, but they may be far older than you, older than civilization, older than agriculture, older than written language itself. Because beneath your identity sits a nervous system shaped by prehistoric reproduction. And here's the realization.
what feels like free choice often begins as ancient biology, not because you're controlled by it, but because it influences the options that feel natural, the attractions that feel automatic, the fears that appear without invitation. And once you see that, you start noticing it everywhere. The stories we tell about love, the status games we play, the insecurities we hide, the endless search for connection. All of it traces back to a single evolutionary reality. Ancient humans who reproduced passed their minds into the future. Those who didn't vanished. Which means every thought you're having right now exists because an unbroken chain of reproduction succeeded for hundreds of thousands of years against predators, against famine, against disease, against extinction itself. And that's the final twist. When you think about reproduction, you probably imagine creating the future. But in a deeper sense, you are the future. A living message sent across time by ancestors you'll never meet. Every instinct, every emotion, every attraction, every fear, evidence that they succeeded. And maybe the strangest realization of all is this: the story of ancient human reproduction never ended. You're living inside its latest chapter. So the next time you feel jealousy, desire, heartbreak, rejection, ask yourself one question. Is this really you? Or is it someone who died 1,000 years ago, still trying to survive? Because the answer might change everything you think you know about yourself.